Now let's read the introduction to the Mary Kay Way. Most books on leadership have been written by men and for men. Although I believe women can learn a great deal from such books, I also believe it isn't possible for us to clone ourselves from our own male counterparts because we are different. Women can no more duplicate the male style of management than American businessmen can exactly reproduce the Japanese style. This is not to suggest that Americans and Japanese cannot learn from one another. They can and do. Similarly, women can gain considerable leadership know-how from men. By the same token, men can also learn much from women. To me, P&L doesn't only mean profit and loss. It also means people and love. I love that. People come first at Mary Kay. I'll repeat that. People come first at Mary Kay. The independent sales force, employees, consumers, and our suppliers. We pride ourselves as a company known for the people it keeps. Our belief in caring for people, however, does not conflict with our need as a corporation to generate a profit. Yes, we keep our eye on the bottom line, but it's not our overriding obsession. Many view us as an enigma, but the Mary Kay success story is no mystery to me. This remarkable company and independent sales force have succeeded not through dog-eat-dog competition, so commonplace in big businesses, but through sensitivity for the needs of others. We could never have grown to where we are today without the enthusiasm of thousands of women and a committed staff. Our secret is a unique leadership concept based on the golden rule that allows fairness to flourish in our business. Oh, love this. Our methods are applicable to any organization, and the purpose of this book is to share them with you right now. My story begins with what others may regard as a conclusion. In 1963, before starting my own company, I retired after 25 years in direct sales. I loved my work, she says. As a national training director of a large corporation, I had achieved many of my goals. But as I reflected upon my career, I was disheartened. The boredom of retirement caused a deepening sense of discontent. I had achieved success, but I felt that my hard work and abilities had never been justly rewarded. I knew I had been denied opportunities to fulfill my potential simply because I was a woman. And I was certain that these feelings were not mere indulgences of self-pity, but I had personally known so many other women who suffered similar injustices. I also knew that repressed anger was unhealthy. For years, I had prided myself on being a positive person, and here I was, full of negative thoughts. To ward off those feelings, I decided to make a list of all the good things that had happened to me during the previous 25 years. Forcing myself to think positively did wonders for my spirit. I was able to overcome the discontent inside of me, and my old enthusiasm slowly returned. Suddenly, it occurred to me that these notes might serve as a basis for a book aimed at helping others. So I went deeper. I listed all the problems I felt had hindered my career. I read through those lists again and again, convinced I was onto something. As a mother strives to protect her children, I wanted to help women so they wouldn't have to suffer what I had to endure. I realized that those lists were evolving into a how-to book about the right way to lead and motivate people. But who was I to write a book on leadership? I had no formal credentials in those areas or as an author. No matter how effective my ideas were, who would pay attention to them? Nevertheless, the golden rule, which is, of course, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, kept racing through my mind. If I had been in charge of my old company, that's the rule I would have used with all people, men and women alike. It seemed to me that following the golden rule was such an obvious way to motivate and lead. If such a company did exist, I reasoned, then it surely would be a dream company. Instantly, a bold but simple question emerged. Instead of just talking or writing about it, why don't you actually do it? That was when I decided to fulfill the dream. Once I made that decision, I needed something to sell. I wanted a top quality product, one that could benefit other women, and one that women would be comfortable selling. I also wanted to offer women an open-ended opportunity to do anything that they were smart enough and motivated enough to do. After spending days and nights trying to think of such a product, it finally dawned on me one evening while I was getting ready for bed. My skincare products. I had been introduced to them 10 years earlier by a local cosmetologist I had called on during my direct selling days. Using formulas created by her dad, she developed creams and lotions for customers of her small home-operated beauty shop. In additional to myself, many of my relatives and friends had been using these wonderful products for several years. So when the cosmetologist died, I bought the original formulas from her family. From my own use and the results I had personally received, I knew that these skincare products were tremendous. And with some modifications and high quality packaging, I was sure they would be a big seller. Although our company now includes men's products, my main objective was to establish a company that would give unlimited opportunity to women. It was a period when women were often paid 50 cents on a man's dollar. Can you imagine? For the same work. It disturbed me that men were paid more because they had families to support. It also disturbed me whenever a male manager put down one of my new ideas or suggestions, he'd say, "Mary Kay, you're thinking like a woman." Throughout this book, I discuss the specific ways in which women do think differently from men. Such differences are in no way inferior or incompatible with the way a man thinks. And so one of my objectives in founding Mary Kay was to create a business atmosphere in which thinking like a woman would not be a liability. In my company, those special sensitivities and talents, often labeled women's intuition, would be nurtured, not stifled. Unlike many people who start new businesses, money was not my prime motivator. Not that I was so well off, it wasn't a consideration. In fact, I had put my life savings on the line. The business had to succeed, or I would never have another opportunity to start my own business. On Friday, September 13th, 1963, I opened the doors to Mary Kay Cosmetics and a 500 square foot store in Dallas. My 20-year-old son, Richard, joined me, and 9 enthusiastic women became the first Mary Kay beauty consultants. All of us worked side by side. There were no job descriptions. We all did what needed to be done. I sold, taught other women, conducted sales meetings, and emptied waste baskets. Richard did the bookkeeping and filled the orders. Over the years, we grew steadily, adhering to our original decision to operate the business according to the golden rule and to offer unlimited opportunities to women. Today, as founder and chairman of Mary Kay, I'm finally writing the book on leadership that was begun in 1963. What was a theory is now a fact. We now have 20 years of successful experience. This book is especially intended for millions of women who have entered the job market. When we started in business, it was easy to operate like a caring family. There was only a few of us, each dependent on the others. We cared about each other and worked side by side as equals. Now that we're big, it's not quite as easy to maintain that family atmosphere. Not easy, but not impossible either. We work hard at it constantly, giving it top priority, and it works.